And we are live. Hello, everybody. Jason again, back with Smith Forge Gaming. I've got the start of a new campaign happening right now with these four players right here. We're going to be kind of exploring a world creation that I'm kind of kicking around. Not a whole lot of detail as of yet, but hopefully with this, we're going to get at least a little bit of that going. We are going to start with character introductions from my left. My brother, Jonathan. John, go ahead.
My name's John. I will be playing a human bard named Lyle. He's a pretty tall, imposing figure. Anyone who's ever seen him perform or has any local knowledge of him knows that whenever he performs from city to city, settlement to settlement, he usually wears a disguise or what he calls a costume. He always tends to claim that it adds to his performance. Outside of that, that's about all I got. I'll go ahead and pass it on to the next.
All right, Leah, my lovely wife Leah, and her character.
Hey everyone, this is Leah. I'm playing a character named Laurelyn. She is a wood elf druid. She's got platinum blonde hair and really, really crystal blue eyes. Her skin is a little bit paler than usual. Noticeable features on her would be her wrists. Has a type of scarring around her wrists. And if you see her ankles, there would be like purplish pink scarring around her ankles. She's not very popular. She doesn't have very many friends except for one. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
All right, we'll go on to Thomas.
All right. I am Thomas, and I'm going to be playing Haruzarak, a dragonborn monk. He's got blue scales, pretty long spines from the top of his head all the way down to the tip of his tail, and see, blue scales everywhere except from the bottom of his chin all the way down, again to the tip of his tail on his front. That's like a more ivory color. He really likes cooking food. All right, and then I'll take it over to my brother Sam here.
Yep, Samuel. I'm going to be playing as a human wizard named Galvan. So his background is going to be stonemason. He's been dabbling in, I guess, being a wizard. What else should I touch on?
As much as you want to say.
Okay. So, I'll just read here. He's been spending most of his life alone in the library working a stone with the stonemasons. He's been delving into studies on goemancy, and he's interested in that subject. And that's about it for now.
Okay. All right. With that, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start just outside of a metropolitan city on a coastline of an azure blue ocean. The water is crystal clear right through here. The landscape gently rolls down from gentle hills more inland, and the main road going in will find three travelers coming down the road, seeing an overhang look from the city itself. The features would be a massive wall surrounding all the way from coast to coast, around halfway circle through the city. Various keeps and guard towers dot the landscape, rooftops packed in very tightly around little avenues and cobbled streets. More than that, though, would be the giant Golden Dome Temple on the eastern side of the city, kind of encompassing part of the wall itself, being built directly into it, or the wall itself being built directly into the temple. Everybody knows this as the Temple of the Sun God Lathander. Beyond that, along the coast is various docks and fishing boats and trade ships coming in and out at all times of the day. This would be towards the evening as our three travelers crest the hill and see the city before them. We would have Haru, Laura, and Galvin all traveling to the city with invitations in hand from the Ashcroft family, who have a business proposal in mind for these three hopeful adventurers. From there, how would you three approach the city?
What's the name of the city again?
Anam Pelor, ANAUM-PELOR.
And we're approaching the city from which direction again?
The north.
Okay, we're coming from the north. I guess we'll go south into the city.
Yeah, direct route, following the road, keeping our eye out for, I guess, any unsavory types who might want to waylay us.
All right. Yeah, no, the trade route is massively busy during the day, and with daylight peeking over to the west, a lot of the caravans have already made it to the gate and inside. So just a few stragglers outside. The people that didn't make it in are settling into camp just outside the city walls to hopefully get a early start at the market square tomorrow morning. It would probably take you about 45 minutes or so to get down from the top of the hill that you crested to see the city for the first time. Approaching the gate, 150, 200 feet tall. This is a massive wall, the sturdiest in any of the land surrounding by far. Anam Pelor has never seen any major invasion and is closely regarded as one of the safest places in the realm. So you approach the gates, which are still open. The guards are starting to change their shift and ready to close gates for the evening. As you approach, what would you like to do?
Go through the gates?
Yeah, probably. Go through the gates, nod in greetings to the guards, and I guess just keep on trucking. Unless they want to stop us.
No, they not really stopping anybody except caravans coming in, checking goods and that kind of thing. So they let you pass pretty unmolested. Have any of you been to this city before?
No.
No, Haruzak has not.
Okay, so you would not have a whole lot of bearing on where the district is that the Ashcroft Manor might be.
You can ask around in the morning. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if we're having a bit of a discussion, where are the Ashcrofts? None of us really know. Herzek addresses Laurelin, and then, as the afterthought, Galrin. We can probably ask around where they may be found in the morning, but for now, I think the proper thing to do is to find an inn we can stay at.
I would agree.
Just in luck, right on the other side of the gate is the Boarhead Tavern.
Okay.
It is pronounced like right as you come in the gate. It is literally impossible to miss. You already see that it's bustling with business. Travelers and traders and locals all packed into this. It seems to be about the time where the proprietor is serving what would be considered dinner. As you enter, the room is just raucous and loud, and several bards are playing by the fireplace. Lots of just chitter chatter all over the building, and tables in circular tables line the floor, probably 7 or 8 of them by your guess. The bar itself is completely packed, but you do see a smaller booth towards the back.
Okay. I'll nod at the remaining booth and say to Laurelyn, if you want, you can grab us some seats. I'm going to ask about whether they have a room for us. And I'll get food.
Laurelyn's gonna quickly make her way to the booth that's empty, and she's going to slide in towards the middle, basically position herself so she can basically see everyone in front of her. She doesn't want her back or side towards people. She wants to be able to see everyone.
I will follow to the booth.
And then Haruzak is going to go hail the barkeep.
All right. As Haru makes his way through the crowd, we pan over to the fireplace where three bards have been playing together and singing and making a fair bit of coin with the jovial tunes that they've been performing for the crowd. Lyle, you see these 3 newcomers enter as you're playing with these other 2 bards. What is your first reaction?
As you pan over to the fireplace, you see me, a tall figure kind of towering over the other 2 bards. And as I notice you grabbing a seat in a booth, thinking to myself that you'll be sticking around for a while, I kind of break formation from the other 2 bards. I kind of, in a jovial fashion, make my way through the crowd that's kind of gathered around me. I mean, during the process, in between notes, you see me hold my hand out for tips, for any kind of coins, for anything like that. And I simply go by your table to get a good glance at you guys while I'm continue playing on my long, intricate pan flute. And I give you a slight nod of the head as I continue making my way around through the crowd trying to collect my tips.
John, you kind of cut out there.
Did I?
Yeah, that last part, you just the sentence cut off right there at the end.
Oh, my fault. Yeah, no, I go up to the table during making my rounds through the crowd, just kind of getting people entertained, trying to get them into my show so they'll notice me more than the other bards. I'm kind of slyly putting my hand out, expecting tips from some of the jovial patrons I come across. And as I approach the group's booth, I just give them a slight nod and a smile, and I hold my hand out for some coinage.
Okay, the only one in the booth at the moment would be Laurelyn. So you would see her lithe figure nervously looking about. She's obviously very uncomfortable to be in a crowd. Keeps looking towards the big burly dragonborn heading towards the bar, who's just about made it now.
I kind of, with a slight chuckle, I said, "Shy are we?" And then, as soon as I say that, I turn and notice the imposing dragonborn approaching, and I quickly go back to my flute and turn around and make my way back into the crowd.
All right, Haru, you kind of push your way through the crowd and kind of get like half an elbow's worth of real estate on the bar itself. The bartender notices you, a big burly man, bald head, mutton chops coming down just to the corners of his mouth. He comes over washing a mug with a fairly dirty rag, puts it down, slides it in front of you, and leans in. Look, I get you, mate.
Two things. 3 plates of food, and then if you have rooms for rent, we'd like to get 2.
He raises his hand towards one of the serving girls that are bustling back and forth across the room, and he shakes his head, not looking at you while he speaks, but it's like, "No, mate, no rooms, only common. Have had several cups. You're welcome to those. 5 silver a night."
Common room? Not what I'd prefer. I'll have to confer with my friends on that. For now, 3 plates then. What'll that run me?
I'll send Lydia right over. And with the mug still in front of you, I can get you a drink if you want.
I don't think we're too. I don't think we're too interested in drinks at the moment.
He doesn't even let you finish your sentence. As soon as he realizes that you don't want to drink, he buzzes right off to the next customers.
Okay, so food. I guess with that, I'll head back over to the booth.
As you're approaching, this is where you see Lyle kind of snaking his way towards the booth itself. Leans in, says something to Laurelyn. This handsome human leaning in, saying something, and then looking over his shoulder, he sees you and quickly bolts back over to the fireplace band where he begins playing his flute along with another lutist. And a halfling is standing on top of a barrel, just belting out shanty after shanty.
Haru, unconsciously clenches his fist, but proceeds to the booth. And when he arrives, he nods at Laura and takes a seat and motions towards the tall human bard. Did he bother you?
I think he wanted money. I think.
Before we even heard a song.
I hadn't. She just kind of goes quiet and shakes her head.
So the three of you take in the sights, sounds, and smells. You can smell the stew coming back from the kitchen. It is pretty pleasant after several weeks of travel on the trade road to get here. The serving lunch comes over. A live little human girl takes your orders, and as you're enjoying the night's stew and bread, a half-elven, what appears to be a guard, approaches and sits directly down at your booth here. He says, "We were beginning to think you weren't going to make it, but luckily for me, Blue Dragonborn is not an easy thing to miss in these parts here. You were sent here for Lady Ashcroft, yes?
I'll nod and pull out the invitation I received, but I'm not going to really open it.
Just as I thought. All right, we've been waiting. If you want to finish this, we can make our way on over to the manor.
Good thing you found us then. Could I do an insight check on him?
Absolutely.
All right. 9.
From everything you can tell, this guy is being absolutely genuine.
He
And
did drop Ashcroft before. Did drop the Ashcroft name before. We
Yeah,
did.
he doesn't seem to have any kind of deception to him. He's performing a duty. He wants to get it done quickly. He does appear that he doesn't quite enjoy being at this particular establishment, and would like to get out as soon as possible.
All right. Well, tough for him. We're going to finish our meal.
All right, there.
Laura Lynn stiffens up slightly at the presence of this guy. She just kind of inches closer to Haru, eating her food quietly.
There are several awkward, silent minutes as the three of you stare at this man and eat your meal very slowly, enjoying every bite. Coming to the end of your meal, he's drumming on the table there with his fingers, looking at the three of you, looking at the crowd. Kind of throws a glance over towards the bards, almost gives a look of recognition and shakes his head, and it's like, all right, well, if we all ready, let's get out of here. My lady does not like to be kept waiting, and I believe it has been quite long enough.
Fair enough. I'm going to see. I'm going to slap down some silver to cover the meal.
Mhm.
So thinking it's what? 1 silver for the food?
Yeah, a total of 3 silver would have covered the stew and
Right.
bread and the warm water that they brought to the table.
So I put down 3 silver for the serving girl, and when we're done eating, I'll stand up, kind of give the man a strange look because he didn't introduce himself. But yes, I'm not particularly interested in knowing his name anyway.
Nor he yours. He just knows who he's looking for and has to get him back to the manor as quickly as possible. With that, he stands up and immediately starts making his way towards the front door.
Now, as everyone approaches the front door, I kind of break cue from my music and hustle across the common room. And as I approach the group by the door, I kind of come to a sliding halt. With that, I'm kind of clearing my throat and smiling at the same time. So, oh, it's a private party. It's private. Okay, well, I could definitely entertain you with this. Private property for the right price, of course. Name's Lyle, and I give him a big courteous bow. And I hold out my hand for a handshake to the man leading the group behind him from the booth. And I just leave my hand there expecting a handshake.
Haru, as you look down, you see that not only is he waiting for a handshake, he has a similar looking envelope in his hand that you have. It seems he's been waiting here for you for quite a while now.
Laura Lynn's gonna let out a hearty sigh. Oh, God.
So you here to join us, Bard?
He looks down at his envelope in his hand and the envelope in your hands, and then immediately focuses his attention back to the beautiful female he had approached in the booth. And he says, "It looks like it's my lucky day then." And just kind of files into line, obviously kind of nearing the attractive female.
Laurelyn's resting bitch face continues.
Haru glances at Laurelyn, glances at the human, and goes ahead and interposes himself between them.
I kind of sense the hostility and back up, give a slight clear of my throat, and as I simply say, I play nice, and I kind of back down a little bit.
The the escort, whose name is Harold, introduces himself to Lyle. Lyle thinks he's holding his hand out to shake his hand, but he's really wanting to see the invitation. Lyle, how'd you take that?
What's that now?
He's holding his hand out to you, appearing to want to shake your hand, but he's got his eye on your invitation.
Oh, I'll kind of pull my hand back jokingly, and with a sly flourish, I'll pull out the invitation and hand it to him, and quickly turn my attention back to the remaining party members that I'm supposed to be joining.
Yeah, he snatches it out of your hand, opens it up real quick, recognizes immediately the script, closes it back, hands it to you, and it's like, "All right then, on our way," and cheerfully walks right out the door, walking at a pretty quick pace.
Follow him at a quick pace.
Yep, we'll follow.
I'll follow him at a medium pace. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. I hope everyone understands that joke.
Well, all right, so Lyle and his shampoo bottle are following. Through the city streets, lanterns are lit. Whale oil lanterns light the streets in an otherwise darkened town. Candlelights and fireplaces light up the houses as you wind your way through the city. This takes a good 15-20 minutes to go up this avenue and down that avenue through a smaller gate surrounded by two towers keeping an eye on the larger pavilion just outside of it. Stepping through, the crampedness of the city immediately falls away, and you see several estates along much nicer surroundings. Each estate has its own wall surrounding it, and iron gates above the walls to keep any intruder, unwanted guests from approaching an obviously much more well-to-do denizen of the city than what you've so far seen. And you quickly approach a larger estate that is more towards the ocean itself. It has a nice, clear view. And as you come up to the gate, you see a large manor house, what we would recognize in our earthly little realm here as a Victorian style, plantation style house, where it's multiple stories up on a rectangular style building, facing a big pond right in the middle of the property. The pond itself has a very well built bridge and gazebo that would stand in the middle of it. Beyond that, you would see kind of what you would take to be a meeting hall of sorts. The building itself is 2 stories and has a large circular greenhouse right on the left corner of it, facing it. Harold brings you straight away into this section of the compound and leads you inside. He shows you through the door and down a small hallway that would open up into a larger, like half circle type of room. Where you enter in is like a flat wall, and going forward is like a circular a wall where couches and chairs and little end tables with refreshments are already sitting and waiting. He bids you come in and sit down and tells you his lady will be with you shortly.
Well, Haru's going to just stand.
Laurelyn's gonna look around. Just in the general area. She isn't straying too far.
I tend to find a part of the room that's kind of void of the other bodies and kind of go over there and stand tall while I do so, and you can see me adjusting like the fake beard that I'm wearing at the time, kind of rubbing my chin as I'm scanning my surroundings.
As you look around, the place is lavish. I mean, these people are very well to do. You're not sure who the Ashcrofts exactly are. As a matter of fact, could I get Lyle? Give me an intelligence check.
All right. 13.
13. Okay, you've heard the name at the very least. You know that they are a trader family, but also work very closely with several of the universities in the bigger cities surrounding this inner sea here, and especially with the Temple of Lathander here in town, whose extensive library on antiquities and ancient lore is almost surpassed by none. But that's really all you know. In the room itself, one of the more prominent features is a large painting just over the door that you entered in that has Lord Ashcroft himself with his what appears to be his wife and small child. He appears to be human, but the wife appears to be at the very least half elven, and by far and away the most beautiful face that any of you have ever seen anywhere. I mean, stunningly beautiful, even in painting form. Kind of just takes you aback with like how almost supernaturally beautiful this woman is. Lyle, you find yourself staring, just almost slack-jawed at the picture itself.
As I kind of wipe the drool from my chin, having vacantly stared at this painting for a few minutes, I guess, I turn to the party and begin to inform them what I know of the family and their riches and their influences within the temples and the libraries of the city, and that you must have some level of renown if you're invited to their family manor.
Yourself kind of like play up your own ego at this as you're telling them this. I mean, obviously you're well-to-do and well known enough to be invited here for whatever business venture. I mean, of course she would invite you, right? I mean,
this is my third visit here. I'm just
of course,
the club.
Of course, and the rest of you can't help but notice that he's kind of very Trumpian, putting himself out there as obviously I'm invited, so you must be important people for even being here with me. This is the sense that you get as Lyle keeps talking.
Laurelyn folds her arms and looks at Haru and raises an eyebrow.
I inspect the stonework.
I suppose I do have, or I did get highly recommended by my noble. The noble I serve, anyway.
Excellent. And Galvin, you're really impressed with the craftsmanship, not only with this building itself, but you noticed the walls were exceedingly well built, as well as the streets and the paths, and everything in this section of the city has been built and maintained by master craftsmen. They have to be a part of the Masons Guild that you are a journeyman in, and you hope that one day your hands would be able to be a part of something of this extravagance. So moments turn into minutes, and everything is starting to be just slightly uncomfortable. Nobody has come yet. The four of you have been left alone in this antechamber. Just as Laurelyn starts to fidget in uncomfortability at just the situation, she does not like being around people that she doesn't really know. The double doors to your right open up, and all four of you recognize the face from the painting as Lady Ashcroft stands before you in a evening gown of just the bluest azure and pearls surrounding her neck, and bids you in to what appears to be her office.
I'll nod and follow.
I'll kind of force my way to the front of the crowd as to get close to Lady Ashcroft, and I'll reintroduce myself, and I'll show her gratitude for having me back in the manor. Kind of as I'm doing so, I'm kind of trying to block out the other people behind me, so as her attention is focused basically just on me and what I provide.
I push him aside with my quarterstaff and say, "Thank you for inviting us."
Laurelyn smirks slightly.
As Lyle bows and makes it known that he appreciates the re-invite, Lady Ashcroft looks at him quizzically, like she doesn't really know what he's talking about, but takes his hand, and just the corner of her perfect mouth just almost imperceptibly turns up in a wry smile and bids you all welcome, and looks Lyle right in the eye and say, "Charmed, I am sure," and sits down and bids you all to stand in front of her desk where there are several chairs.
Laurelyn's gonna take a seat.
Haru looks at the chair. Does it have a solid back to it? Because if it does, he can't really sit with his tail.
I'll stand, thank you.
Tail issues.
Yes, tail issues. So he'll just
Tail issues.
stand behind the chair. If there's,
Tail struggles.
if there's none with a slot.
Galvan will sit.
And Lyle, you're standing also?
No, I too will sit, and as I sit, I take off my colorful patchwork cloak and I give it like a quick shaking and then drape it across the back of the chair so as to like pillow my head as I relax.
Lady Ashcroft has on her desk several papers laid over what appear to be sea charts. One of them catches your eye as a set of islands. There appears to be 3 larger ones and a landmass in the northwest section of the chart itself. Without really looking up, she addresses the party as, I'm sure you're all wondering why you were invited here, and I will get to that in a second. My Chamberlain assures me that you are all individuals of unique talents, and these are the types of people that I need here. You see, who here is familiar with the Freebooters League? And with that, she looks up at all 4 of you, gauging any reaction at all.
Knowledge check?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just straight intellect then?
Yep.
Like,
Straight in.
19. Well, 20 with the +1.
11.
11.
I just got an 11.
Just a straight 11. Okay. So Lyle knows immediately who the Freebooters League is. These are a collection of quote-unquote adventurers that have been responsible for some of the greatest discoveries of the time. They're known throughout the land as going into the places that haven't been known and that are unexplored and are at the forefront of any archaeological dig and search for the past. Lyle, you know that in recent times, over the past 5 years or so, great discoveries have been discovered in the far west of the ocean. New land masses that nobody has ever seen or laid foot on before. And you start to put 2 and 2 together as you look closely at the sea charts. You see on one of the islands what appears to be a marker for a settlement.
In response to her asking of our knowledge of the Freebooters League, I quickly respond with an yes. Many tales have been written and performed about their brave and adventurous discoveries out west. And my attention quickly turns to the seafaring map you mentioned. And I kind of give her an inquisitive look with a smile on my face. And what of the Freebooters League?
Before you even finish your sentence, she goes on, good, then I do not have to explain any further on who and what we are and what we do. Quite simply is this. My husband is on a venture to explore some of the islands that surround the settlement of Sarah's Bounty, a settlement that we are proud as a society to have helped found, based from, I'm assuming you all have heard of Freeport and those ghastly people.
Slight nod.
Well, straight to the point. We have 3 ships bound for Sarah's Bounty with colonists to settle more of the lands that we have, quite frankly, tamed over the past several seasons. And we seek the more unconventional bravery, I will say, to set forth with them and assure their safety and assure the profitability of the league itself going forward. I assume by you joining me here that you are interested in such a proposal?
Correct.
Laurelyn nods, looking at Haru.
I suppose I'm willing to take on a venture, depending on the pay.
She looks directly at the Dragonborn. I assure you the pay is both generous and ongoing, as you will be landed once your contract has expired with a plot of land to do with as you see fit and to see its ongoing profit from then on out.
And the land will be on the island?
Of course.
Fair enough.
Now, straight away, this is a long-term arrangement. I have had you forechosen for your eyes, I should say, to the current situation here within the realm. I also would wager that this is also agreeable.
I kind of let out an exasperated sigh. I sit back in my seat, looking a little frustrated while I puzzle over the proposal. And in doing so, you see me remove my fake beard, my disguise. You see me pull a small sack of feathers out from beneath my coat, my tunic. And you see that I have very pronounced facial features. I have salt and pepper hair slicked back, a very close kept beard. And I kind of sigh as I speak to Lady Ashcroft. If I was promised fortune and the prospect of fame, I wasn't aware that this would require my services for such a lengthy amount of time. And what were to happen if things go wrong?
Such a question can be asked of any endeavor in life, can it not?
Laurelyn nods.
And I kind of change the subject back to the coinage, so long as the price is paid in full.
A slight tingle in the air as Lady Ashcroft seems to concentrate for a second. And a few moments later, the door opens up with, you recognize Harold again, marches over and around the desk, standing behind her, and lays down 4 satchels onto her desk and bows and leaves. She lines up all 4 satchels, positioning it in front of each of you on the end of her desk, and says, I believe this is more than ample enough to get started. And who knows what fortunes we may yet find across the sea.
Do we know how much is in there?
As you open it up, Lyle, you, with a trained eye, carefully or quickly come to the realization that there is 500 gold pieces in there in your satchel alone.
So hi buddy. So as I'm quickly strumming my fingers through the coins in the coin sack, I come to a final sum and almost choke. And you hear me say to myself, who wants to perform in Kirkwall? I'll never go back to that damn city again. Okay, Freeport, right? Freeport it is? Okay. You see, I'm a little more anxious.
Haru's going to, I guess, casually pick up a few coins, drop them back in, and glance at Lady Ashcroft and say, I suppose with this kind of gold you have some kind of contract drafted.
But of course. And she reaches down, opens up her desk, and pulls out a very long contract, unrolls it, and lays it down next to a quill and ink jar in front of you.
Well, Haru is going to spend as long as it takes to read the whole thing.
Yep.
Maybe not like super in depth, but he's going to get a gist for the terms at least.
Since I've dealt with this kind of thing before, I'm a guild artisan, I've dealt with contracts. I will read the entire thing and inform everyone else of the important parts.
Yeah.
With that, she pulls out a chained timepiece from underneath her petticoat. Looks at the time. You guys would notice that this is a very exquisite pocket watch that she's pulled out. Quickly closes it, stands up, and says, "My staff will show you to the guest houses on the far end of the compound. I do not expect an answer tonight, and I do not expect you to sign a contract you have yet to barely read. So we will reconvene tomorrow morning to establish a business relationship." And with that, she says, "Good night," and leaves the office.
I bid her good night and thank her for her hospitality.
I merely close up my coin pouch and stuff it into my pocket. Give her a nod.
Well, you know that means you accept the mission. It's in the contract.
Have you been to Kirkwall? Because I would much rather go to Freeport.
All of you know about Freeport. Freeport is a town that was established by privateers several generations ago, as the realms really started to explore not only the ends of their own territories by land, but also by ocean. Lyle, you would know this is where the start of the league itself would have originated. Freeport is several days voyage directly west on a small outcropping of islands in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. Nothing else surrounds it, but it is truly a hive of scum and villainy.
And yes, I still prefer Freeport over Kirkwall. Thanks.
Okay. So we read through the entire
I mean,
thing.
yeah, I don't expect it in legalese, but as long as there's no like big outstanding deal breaker conditions like firstborn children or
Your mortal soul.
yeah, your immortal soul or
No enslavement.
yeah, no enslavement, and as long as we're allowed to break ties at some point in the future without like losing everything.
Yeah, no taxes on our property either. That's ours fair and square.
You're actually surprised at the professional language of the contract itself.
And illusions on it either. Make it look like it's something it's not.
I guess our wizard is virtually casting detect magic to see if there's any invisible lines on it.
Oh, for sure. No, this is a straight up legit contract. There's no magical tampering of this whatsoever. You can't really detect anything that would be faulty with the contract. The contract itself describes a 5-year contract as an associate member of the league, and in that he would report to a venture captain who you would assume to be Lord Hugh Ashcroft, who is named in the contract, already on site within the colony itself. The rewards of such go with a share of any spoils that would be turned over to the league. Anything found is to be turned over to the league without question. This is an expedition of knowledge seeking. And at the end of the 5 years, in the contract, it settles off large tracts of farmland within the colony itself and the surrounding lands, or safe voyage back to the continent, and a large sum of money to do with as you see fit.
Okay. So basically, no salvage rights.
Yeah, no salvage rights, but
unless they give it to us.
Well, no salvage rights. We get paid handsomely.
You get paid handsomely for each discovery that leads to knowledge gained on the part of the league.
All right. And by no salvage rights, I mean we kill pirates out there that want to waylay our ship. We don't get to loot their coffers. Everything goes back to the league.
Exactly.
Okay.
Haru's a smart cookie.
Oh, I just want it clear.
Now, while you guys are looking over this, several staff members show up offering food and drink to be had in the antechamber outside, which afterwards they all lead you across the compound itself to a 2-story not house, but maybe cottage, where you will be set up with several rooms, and to your surprise, indoor plumbing, which is a novelty still at this time. You're shown in and bid make yourselves at home for the evening, and they will return for breakfast and another meeting with Lady Ashcroft. So the 4 of you now find yourselves within a common area of the cottage you were all shown into. You will all be sharing this one building for the evening.
Okay.
The fire is already going, and you were left alone to your own devices.
Okay. One building, 4 rooms at least.
Yes.
Like 4 separate rooms for all of us.
Yes.
Right. Well, I'll tell Laura Lynn that she can keep her own room if she wants. She can visit mine.
She nods.
Whichever one she feels comfortable with. And then going over the contract, that's basically what Haru is going to do with most of his time. And I'm making some notes on it.
Is there a tub? Laura Lynn wants to take a bath.
Yes, there is. There is a chamber with a tub that has a pump with water, which again is a novelty for the time.
And it's heated.
It is heated.
Oh my goodness.
It is a warm bath. Again, the extravagance shown at this part of town just really kind of takes, especially you, Laura Lynn, aback. You have never in your life been in such opulence as this right here. A warm bath that's unheard of.
She's going to look to Haru. She appears a little more relaxed. I'm going to go get cleaned up. I should be back down here in about an hour. And with that, she wanders off looking for the tub.
Very well.
You said that there was a fire that it was already started for us, right? Okay. I will find a comfortable place to sit near the fire, take my boots up, prop my feet up, and I'll begin to just slowly hum into my pan flute, kind of gazing into the fire, pondering our current situation.
Galvin, you are relaxed on a couch, poring over this contract. Clearly, you were in a position to understand the language in it better than probably any of them here. You see the bard kicked his feet up, very much relaxed in this setting, kind of enjoying himself for a change, and just kind of taking this all in as a well-deserved tribute to who he is. What are your thoughts on this strange dude and why he has already changed appearance a couple of times in front of you? You can't help but wonder what's going on with a character like this.
You're asking me?
Yeah. Yep.
I think he's an odd fellow.
And as you continue to pore over the contract, you keep finding yourself like looking up, like, who is this guy? Like this, like, why him with us? I mean, obviously you know Haru, and you know enough of Laura Lynn to just not ask questions of Haru. You know it to be a tender subject, but this bard throws you for a loop.
Okay, so I'll look up from the contract and ask the bard. So, what are you good at? What do you do?
I slightly turn away from the fire in a more serious tone than I have been earlier in the evening after the festivities in the tavern kind of spilled over. I look down at my flute and I look back over at you, and I simply mention it's sometimes things that you choose to forget from your past are what pave your way into your future. And I just kind of sit on that for a minute and dismissively go back to humming into my flute.
And the room falls into a really, really awkward silence as the three of you sit. Haru, how are you taking in your surroundings right now? What are you doing?
Well, I'm seeing that they definitely have a lot of wealth. They're being very polite and nice. They have a contract laid out, and although Haru may not grasp all of the intricacies, it looks very well put together. He's leaning towards it, towards accepting the offer, and he's hoping that at least Laura Lynn will join him in this venture, although if she decides not to, that's fair in her choice, but this is pretty much exactly what he's been looking for.
Excellent.
As for the human wizard and the human bard, I guess more hands is always helpful.
And as you sit here and ponder the near future and what it means for you, Laurelyn comes back down in much more relaxed clothing. The road gear that she had on is gone, and she's in a comfortable outfit, as clean as she's ever been in her life. Now, Laurelyn, how excited were you to have a warm bath?
Laurelyn was very, very happy to have a warm bath. She was able to sit and relax and collect her thoughts. She's not feeling nearly as much anxiety as she normally feels on a daily basis. So she's kind of smiling for a change.
If Haru had eyebrows, they'd be raising, but he doesn't. So he gives her a curious look.
Say, this is the first time I've ever seen you happy.
Warm baths are amazing. I turned the water on and off a few times just to make sure it was real.
I've heard rumors of warmed baths. Normally, I just have to warm myself.
Haru shrugs.
You hear the wizard start mumbling to himself, like trying to work out the problem of how one might attain warm water plumbing through a house such as this, kind of ignoring the rest of you at that point and just muttering on the couch. The evening goes on a lot like this till it starts to get very late. The four of you find yourselves very relaxed, very at home for the first time in probably a while for most, if not all of you. At this point, would you like to turn in or something else?
Yeah. I'll stop playing my flute and kind of get up, stretch for a minute before leaning down to grab my boots and making my way towards the room. As I do so, I'll give everyone a nod, tell them evening, slight smile on my face, and then I'll be on my way.
I guess I get done reading the contract and basically write notes down on it, and then I'm going to go to my own room and get a bath.
Haru is going to do his exercise routine. This is something he does pretty much every other day. Day exercise, then rest, then exercise following, just infinitely. And he does a full round of, I guess, push-ups, squats, sit-ups, and it's just full body workout, head to toe. And when he's done with that, he'll go upstairs, clean himself off. Not that he sweats, but just to clean himself off and see what everyone else is talking about. And then, I guess after that, he'll see if Laurelyn is still awake and ask her thoughts. But
Laurelyn's going to be passed out in one of the bedrooms. She just picked one.
Okay.
And she had just fell asleep with ease, first time in a while.
Galvin would especially be taken aback by this, as he hasn't heard a bear in quite a long time, with the snores that echo through this cottage as Laurelyn sleeps soundly. Morning finds our party. Haru, being one of the most disciplined, finds himself up first. and is outside taking in the morning air and the sea breeze coming in from the coast. Haru, you find yourself wandering around, and you cross the bridge onto the gazebo in the center of the koi pond and see yourself almost meditating on the movements of the fish as they dart to and fro through the water. You may find yourself throwing small bits of bread that was presented in the common room when you awoke, and watching the fish furiously feed on that. The calm, you can hear the city bustleness going on in the larger distance, but here you're able to focus in on the quiet, and especially being trained to bring yourself into yourself. You take this moment of serenity for what it is, and truly enjoy yourself. In the middle of that, a voice breaks the silence behind you, and as you turn around, Lady Ashcroft stands before you, dressed for business now. She is in leather pants and a shirt, a blouse that is very fine but very functional. And she breaks the silence with, I trust you slept well.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Very good to hear. I wanted especially to get you to hear my plea. With that, she has a letter in her hand. She hands you the letter. I received this a fortnight ago, and I really, truly need a helping hand. You seem a studious sort, and one well regulated to order. To that, I beseech you, please read over this letter. And when you arrive into the colony, please make the quickest of haste and help me bring my husband home. You notice emotion in her face for the first time. She's been a stone since the first time you've seen her, but now there is a desperate air about her as she hands you the letter.
All right, I will accept the letter politely. Try to get a read for her on whether I should open and read it now, or if she just wants me to give her some kind of assurance.
She wants to know that you'll help her from everything that you can tell. She doesn't really give you much of a chance to open it up and read it in front of her, as after she makes her plea, she makes her way towards the manor house, and bids that she'll see you in the rest very shortly within her office.
Oh, very well then. I'll crack open the letter and, I guess, read it while casually glancing at the pond and the fish.
Reading the letter, you open it up to a very, very well-written the handwriting is almost perfect. I mean, the level of education that this man has, you can see it just clearly from the pen strokes on the paper. this man has to be one of the most educated people that you've ever run across, and in your lifetime. The script flows, my dearest cat.
Okay.
Many months have found us apart. And while the growth of the colony goes quite well, I find myself drawn to the hills and the lone mountain within the center of the island. Something calls. I do not know what I will find, but something lies there just beneath. My dreams plague me of late. A great yellow-robed figure bids me forward, and I do not know how to resist. I make my way there tomorrow alone, for the rangers of the town dare not get close to this place. I go forward not only for the League, but for our family and our ties to what I think I might find within. Know that I love thee and will see you soon. With dearest affection, Hugh.
So there's something else out there. Something beyond their comprehension. I'm going to fold the letter up, pocket it, and casting one last glance at the fish, thinking about how tasty they'd be, I'm going to head back to our apartment.
Say, by the time he gets back, I'm already up again, looking over the contract one more time. My pen over the paper.
So, as Haru rejoins you all, you all are stretching out the good sleep that you've gotten in the very softest beds that you felt. Harold knocks on the door and gently opens, asking if everybody is up and awake.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that you are, he bids you follow him to the meeting house where his mistress awaits.
All right. I guess Haru will make sure the contract comes with them. I'm going to pull Laurelyn back for a moment and hand her the letter and just tell her the gist, like whisper the gist of it to her, and ask her to like read it and give me her impression. But I say, I'm still interested in taking on this job, but there appears to be something beyond our understanding and the terms of the contract waiting out there for us. Take this into consideration, and then I'll wait a moment for her to glance over the letter if she wants before following everyone else.
She glances over the letter and looks up at Haru. We're doing this. We're signing that contract. Folds it and hands it back to him.
Okay, I'll accept it, stash it back in his pouch, and then proceed.
So the party meets back at the meeting house. Lady Ashcroft awaits at her desk. You were all shown in She bids you over and asks straightforward. I trust that the contract is agreeable.
Haru nods, and he'll step forward and I guess be the first to sign his name on the contract.
Laurelyn's right behind him.
Okay, I'll pass the pen to her. Step
Take-
off to the side.
She takes the pen in her left hand and signs her name and passes it off to whoever is behind her.
Calvin, write it down, hand it off to the bard.
You kind of see me, and for the first time of actually noticing my disguise today, you see that I'm wearing a short cropped blonde wig that's kind of made to look dirty and matted and close to my face. I'm wearing a rough knit sweater with a couple of holes in it, very scraggly beard. I have some dirty, scratched up glasses on my face that's bent and contorted, and I quickly sign it.
Once all four names are on the contract, Lady Ashcroft takes a pen from her side of the desk and quickly presses it into her finger, drawing a bit of blood, and signs the very bottom of the contract as Lady Catherine Ashcroft. And with that, she rolls it up and seals it and passes it off to Harold, who stands behind her. And she says, "Excellent. All provisions have been accounted for and pre-planned. We have a voyage from here, leaving in 2 hours' time to the town of Freeport. Several days voyage to the west. There you will meet a Captain Magnus and provide him with this contract," holding up a separate letter. "Provide him with this from the League, and all will be handled from there. I bid you safe voyage, good luck, and my most heartfelt thanks."
My last question is, the sums of gold that we earn, will they be stored in a bank on the island or here? Or will the money be transferred as need be between them?
They will be noted within the League's records,
Okay.
and upon request, sent to you in physicality, on site if you so desire, or waiting upon your return if that is your wish.
Very well. I guess for now, the 500 sum that you offered as front payment, I'd like it stored in a bank. For myself, at least. Everyone else may do as they wish.
I'm going to hold on to mine.
She looks to the other two.
I kind of passively shrug off the notion that I even received it, as if to just consider it not of any concern.
Next level issue. Out of character.
Laurelyn's going to also request that hers go into a bank.
All right, so I assume that you both have the satchel with the coins with you at this point, Haru and Laurelyn.
No, I didn't even pick mine up. I checked
No.
the coins and just left them there.
Okay. Lady Ashcroft will acknowledge the desire and say, "Duly noted. We will make records accordingly, and we'll be awaiting your return." And if there is nothing else, Harold will escort you to the docks, where you will board one of our vessels and head directly west. Again, the ship leaves within 2 hours' time. The captain is very prompt and will not wait. So you either on that boat or the contract is null and void.
Very well. I say we best be about it.
Right.
I agree.
Unless any of you want to do any shopping.
We'll shop. We could shop when we get to the island.
Unless it's company credits.
Haru's going to make his way down to the docks with Harold, I guess, if he's showing the way.
I'd say we'll be joining them on their way to the docks.
Yep. Laurelyn's following.
All right. Yeah, you guys are led to the piers. The sea breeze is exceedingly nice this time of year. So the weather is simply fantastic. You are all just invigorated with not only the wind itself, but the sense of adventure that lies before you. You're shown on board this trading vessel with no problems at all. The captain shows you to your quarters. You were luckily on this particular voyage shown to quarters that are private to the four of you, separate from the crew itself. So at least for this leg, you will have some semblance of privacy. And within a short amount of time, the ship sets sail. The captain and crew are about their duties, and the ship pulls out from pier into the blue unknown. And with that, we're going to take a short 5-minute break. Everybody,
All right.
or do whatever you need to do, and we shall return in about 5 minutes' time.
All right.
Again, everybody, thank you for joining us. Anybody that is watching currently, I know Karen Davies is watching. Thank you. Or anybody that is watching this in the future, thank you for viewing, and we'll be right back.
It is super effective.
All right. I'm back.
All right.
Yeah, I have a really shitty camera, so I'm not sure how I can fix the auto.
I'm back.
Okay, with that, everyone's back. I guess we're still live, so
Mhm.
will we have some semblance of privacy on the first leg of the journey? Haru will let the two humans know about the letter and inform them that if they experience strange dreams that seem to be calling them up into the center of the mountain, that'd be something they can share, and we won't think they're crazy.
That would have been relevant information before signing the contract.
I having learned of this new information regarding the letter and Lord Ashcroft's journey towards the mountain on the center of the island, I relay the information that there are rumors of great and terrible things to be found beneath this island, and that
Don't say.
our journey ahead should be taken very carefully.
What do you mean? What do you mean beneath?
Well, these are, after all, just tall tales and songs sung around the hearth. But as the tales go, there's terrible things. There's beasts. Of course, this could all be tall tales meant to entertain those weary from their travels. However, it could also turn out to be true.
Laura Lynn no longer looks relaxed. Do we have to go beneath the island?
It's not that if we have to go, it's I fear for those who may have already. And I kind of mentioned Lord Ashcroft on that same thought.
Yes, we were asked to return Lord Ashcroft, and last we know, he was going to the center of the island.
Yes, but no one said anything about into the ground. Laurelyn just kind of withdraws herself. She's thumbing over one of the scars on her wrists, and she kind of goes quiet.
To kind of lighten the mood, I immediately turn and with a little jiggle of my body make my way back towards several of the deckhands that I think have the least responsible duty to take care of at the moment, and I begin to gather them around me and begin telling tales of a particular place in a far off way, and I just trail off as I completely detach myself from the current situation.
Have we started sailing yet, or?
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys are underway.
All right, I'm rolling Constitution check.
You can kind of hear me in the background trying to barter songs for extra servings of dinner for the evening. Perhaps a better room than the one I've been given.
Yeah, Haru doesn't take to sailing very well, apparently. He's got his sea legs, sort of, but his scales take on a slightly green cast, and he spends a lot of time up on top of the deck. For the first day.
Oh no, my friend.
So,
yeah.
So Haru is
a little bit seasick.
A little seasick through most of this voyage, and Lyle is, if I understand things correctly, trying to find better lodging among the crew.
Yeah, he's trying to quid pro quo the crewmates there and try and perform and entertain his way into having their helpings of dinner for the evening, or if one of them he feels has better lodgings than he currently has.
Why don't you roll me a charisma check?
All right. Oh my goodness. That's an 8.
All right. So you come across several of the male crew that would be more than happy to share their bunk with you.
I didn't know. Sharing a bunk was not part of our arrangement here, good sir. Okay. It was that you would assume my lodgings, and in turn, I would assume yours. That was the deal.
Well, several disappointed faces as you turn down each and every one of these potential suitors, as they've heard of the renowned Lyle Alibi, and disappointment at the chance to share an evening with such a renowned man.
Well, it's nothing personal, and it's not that I don't mind the smell, because it's a very quaint smell. It's you. It defines you. It's just that I need privacy. I need room to practice, as you were. It's nothing personal. It's not that I don't mind your odor, and I just trail off in a conversation from there.
And it goes on like this for days and days as the seas remain fairly calm, but a favorable wind falls in behind the vessel. And before long, you see above you a plume of smoke, not above you, but along the horizon. Plume of smoke arise as the islands that Freeport occupies become visible. And before long, the ship itself finds itself within the flurry of ships that are coming to port along this this most famous of settlements along the Western Sea. The smell is what takes you first. Even from this distance, the smell of waste and bodily interaction hits you in the face like a hammer to an anvil. As you get closer, you struggle. All of you roll me Constitution saves.
I've already been doing this.
12.
Yeah, with the
I rolled a 2.
5.
7.
Okay, everybody but Lyle, because Lyle is used to being in sweaty crowds where the unwashed masses surround him as he begs for coin. But the rest of you are not really used to this. Most surprisingly, Haru, who has spent time as a conscript.
I've been knocked out by the seasickness for days now, and this thing is just added on top of it.
She's having a good time. Meanwhile, I'm upgrading to first class.
Lyle laughs as the rest of you are hurling over the side of the ship. Lyle, you see the source of the smells is there seems to be a sewer system within Freeport, which is kind of surprising, to be perfectly honest. The exits of which are just above the water surface, so every foul stench of excrement is being dumped into the harbor here to be devoured up by all manner of nasty fish. But you just chuckle to yourself as the rest of your party becomes acquainted with civilization's less talked about aromas.
Laurelyn's gonna scowl as she.
I go down below deck.
Haru gives Laurelyn a silent glance and snorts. Humans.
Before long, you hear the crew. I mean, they're to and fro, and the captain and his first are barking out orders, and bodies are just swiftly moving along the vessel as you're brought in to port. The ship is brought in and moored along the docks. All of you cannot wait to set foot upon solid, dry land.
Especially
Haru. And you all make your way out as quickly as you possibly can. So along the gangplank, you find yourselves at the bottom on the dock. What would you like to do from here?
Go upwind.
That is an excellent idea.
Okay. Well, we got to find out where we are supposed to be going.
did the letter we gave the Captain M something. The letter we gave them or any of our instructions tell us more or less where we should be heading.
So on your exit out, at least Haru has the foresight to ask the bosun about a Captain Magnus.
Yeah.
And the bosun, in a very broken common, informs you that that Captain Magnus is usually found at the end of the Salty Clam, which is just down pier, at a few minutes walk from here. He says you can't really miss the place due to the violence.
All right. I guess I'll say we're heading to that tavern then. Keep your wits about you.
Right.
And we'll head into the Salty Clam.
I'm assuming all four of you are together and deciding to head.
Oh
head
yeah,
into-
yeah, yeah. Lyle has already made his way into the tavern and began to set down his instrument case and whatnot, and kind of study the crowd if there is one.
Yeah, Haru's not making himself comfortable yet. He's looking around to like get a feel for the nature of the crowd.
Yeah, where we want to be in the crowd.
Yeah, Laurelyn's looking for a spot that's kind of off to the side, not in the center of all of it.
So, as you all come off the pier, Lyle just makes his way through the crowd with expert ease, and quickly loses the three of you, disappearing into the crowd. Lyle, you're pushing away past sailor and salesman and porter as cargo comes in and off ships. You feel more alive in this environment than almost anywhere else on the planet. This is where you belong. Okay. The sights and the smells and the various people making their way just outside of civilization's reach. This just hits an inner chord within you. You're making your way down. And you lose track that you're traveling with people, so you just cutting in and out of the traffic. But before long, you feel a firm grip on your arm, surprising you. You're used to the human contact of bumping into people and that kind of a thing, but this is different. This halts you in your tracks. And before you can turn around, what you hear is, "Have you seen the yellow sign, friend?" And as you turn around, nobody's there. The arm that had grabbed you is gone. But the words that were spoken to you echo within your soul. "Have you seen the yellow sign, friend?"
Do we all hear that?
No, just Lyle. Lyle has lost you.
Okay, gotcha.
I kind of stand there puzzled for a few moments, giving the rest of the party time enough to catch up with me. And as they approach, I quickly asked them, "Did you just see her? Where did she go?" And I began kind of looking through the crowd. "Did you see her?"
And the rest of you are puzzled. Like, for the first time since meeting Lyle, he seems truly unsettled. Whatever just happened has clearly knocked him off of his guard. And the calm, collected front that he puts out, and all of his air of arrogance is gone as he is panically searching through the crowd for the voice that asked him a simple question.
And with that, real quick before you get started, I'm kind of, as I'm scanning the crowd, you can hear me mumbling the words, "Have you seen the yellow sign?" to myself, just quizzically.
Haru is going to place a hand on Lyle's shoulder, turn him around so that you're looking straight in the eyes of this Dragonborn. And he's going to say, "I didn't see anyone, You wandered off ahead of us. Is it perhaps the first sign of a vision that something isn't quite right here? And I'm going to hold up the letter from Lord Ashcroft to remind him.
After rereading the letter, I slowly begin to put two and two together after having put it out of my mind. And I just kind of nervously say, well, let's get to where we need to be then. And I kind of tug my cloak. You can see it's got colorful patchwork along the outside of it, but on the inside you can see that it's midnight black, very dark black.
And I guess from here we're going to continue on to the tavern.
All right. Yeah, you make your way down the pier. There are various warehouse and customs checks, and you see not really town guards, but what appear to be private security for various trading quote-unquote companies. Making sure that cargo gets safely into where it needs to be. And within a few minutes, you come to a building that has just a dried clamshell opened on a wooden sign, assuming that this would indeed be the salty clam. As you approach, a male dwarf, bald and mangy beard, gets tossed out onto the pier, quickly followed by two half-orc individuals that set upon him, screaming something about cheating, and that doesn't go well, and he'll regret the day, blah, blah, blah. Crack, crack, crack. Teeth are flying. And others just ignore exactly what's going on and go about their day-to-day. What would you like to do from here?
We're going in there.
Apparently.
We only need to find Captain Mangus.
I highly doubt he would be in an establishment such as this.
We were told this is where he would be.
What kind of a
Well, we're not going to
person are we
gambling, so
dealing with?
unless it's really good gambling.
Haru shrugs. You break the rules, you pay the price. And he walks in.
I'm going to closely be behind him.
Laurelin follows.
Lyle turns to look over his shoulder one last time, looking for the lady who gripped his arm a moment before, and then quickly makes his way into the tavern.
All right, you make your way in, and Haru, you pull one of the winches aside and inquire about a Captain Magnus of the Peregrine. The winch points to a corner, and you make your way through the crowd, the crowd of this place. The place is almost completely dark. There's not many candles lit at all. The only light coming in really is from the door itself, or the passageway in itself, because the door is just non-existent, and several of the front windows. And as you approach the back corner, you see a disheveled man, hair in disarray, his ponytail covering his face as he lays with one hand holding a mug and doesn't appear to be moving otherwise.
I'm going to see. So I'm going to use light cantrip on
Just an item.
Yeah.
Or it could even be part of your like hand or something.
I'm just going to use light cantrip. I'm going to use it on my quarterstaff. And basically use that to help us see the way.
Fair enough.
It'll just help with.
Haru sees the state of the man, turns towards Lyle. Got your wits about you?
I quickly respond with a confident chuckle at all times, of course, and I'm continuing to stare at the crowd in the establishment around us as to study the figures among the crowd.
I'm going to point him in the direction of Captain Magnus, who's the disheveled man in the corner, and say, see what he knows about Lord Ashcroft. I'll drop my voice at that because I don't know what the reaction would be if I spoke the name aloud.
That's assuming he has a pulse, and I kind of laugh it off, and then go over and kind of give his body a couple of shrugs, a couple little nudges.
With alarming speed, the man jumps up, and before you know it, your throat is grabbed, and the mug in his hand on the table crashes across your skull, and you're pushed up against one of the pillars of the establishment. Where he leans in and whispers into your ear, "Touch me again, friend, and you'll pull back a nub. Now, who are ye? And what do you want?"
I'm kind of looking over at Haru. Yeah, you go tell him. You go see if he's awake. And I'm kind of reaching into my cloak, trying to reveal the letter, the invitation, or the documentation, whatever it is that we'd received from Lady Ashcroft. And I'm at this point, I'm kind of pleading while trying to save face in front of my party members here. I'm like, relax, calm down. And I begin to explain to them that we're looking for him. We were sent by Lady Ashcroft.
At the mention of Ashcroft, he immediately releases you and slumps back down onto his bench and scoots over, leaning his very drunken head up against the wall. Hey, Ashcroft. So they sent you again out of the fucking Buddhas. What do they want now? And why don't I have a drink?
I quickly begin to readjust the collar of my shirt and the cuff of my cloak, and I'm like, it's okay, I forgive you for that violent outburst. And I sit down confidently, and I begin to question him regarding Lord Ashcroft and what he knows about him.
Haru is going to flag down one of the barmaids and request a drink for the captain.
When she brings it over, he greedily snatches it up and starts pouring it messily down his gullet. Ale just dripping down his scruffy face. The man hasn't shaven in a couple of days. His uniform, unkempt. He's obviously seen better days. When he finishes the mug, he slams it on the ground and pushes it off onto the table and leans back, closes his eyes. Lord Ashcroft. Hey, Lord. The fuck you want with him? I haven't seen him in 8 months. He went west. He went to the settlement. He went to the colonies. What do you want with me? Why? What do you want? What do you want? Oh, Magnus.
I just look at Haru and kind of give him the, well, it's your turn now. And I flag a barmaid for myself.
Fine. Haru is going to stand over Captain Magnus and say, "We were instructed to find Lord Ashcroft. Do you know where he is?"
And he opens one eye and looks at you. And then opens both eyes when he realizes what he's looking at. He's like, oh. And he wipes his hand down his face. Kind of catches his bearing. You're a big fella, aren't you?
Haru shrugs.
So, Ashcroft. Lord Ashcroft. I, with several other captains, took the colonists over to that place nigh on 8 months ago, and I haven't seen him since.
To that place. Can you be a little more specific?
At this point, he squints his eye and looks at your direction and goes, the fucking colony. What other place would I be talking about except here? The colony, the bounty, as they call it. The bounty. The place is cursed, I tell you. Cursed. But I took them 8 months ago on some kind of an expedition. And as I said, we left and have not been back since. Now, how is Ashcroft asking you to find Ashcroft?
He has a wife.
He's truly dumbfounded at this.
Well, being captain, I'm assuming, of the town watch, is it not your responsibility to safely see colonists to and from? What do you, so you know it's cursed and you took them there and then just turned and left your duties?
Haru is going to facepalm.
He laughs really heartily at the assumption that he is the watch captain. Are you daft? Or are you just half retarded? I'm the captain of the Peregrine. Do I look like a fucking town's watchman to you?
Well, you definitely don't look like no captain of a ship to me either.
And with that, he stands up. I, sir, will not tolerate being insulted in such a manner by the likes of you. And he starts to stumble away.
I kind of stand up and puff out my chest in response, and I will have no matter of rudeness from the likes of someone like you, as if he should know who I am.
At that point, he chuckles to himself and starts to stagger away. As he makes his way out, the only thing you've got from him is he is apparently the captain of a vessel called the Peregrine. Other than that, you're not really sure what to make of this drunken imbecile that just sat before you. And here you sit amongst yourselves in this raucous crowd.
I don't think there's any other reason for us to be here.
There is no reason for us to be here.
We've received as much information as we could squeeze out of that sack and then I just kind of trail off. And yeah, I'm ready to leave whenever you are.
Haru's going to pat Lie on the shoulder. Always amazed to see a master conversationalist at work. And
Well, it helps when the conversation doesn't begin with a chokehold being pinned against the wall either. Next time, I'll leave that up to you. I'm still like rubbing my neck from where he gripped it as hard as he did. I'm still trying to save face from the situation.
well, our task remains to find Lord Ashcroft. Last we know, he went to the Bounty, as they called it, which I assume has to be another island nearby.
So, was that the guy who brings people to that island?
I would assume he's one of the guys.
By Lathander, I'll find another way to that island.
I hope there's a different way.
We could probably find a different captain who'll take us there.
Or we could catch up to that guy and get him sober and talk to him again.
I don't think that's going to help at all.
I just kind of curtsied him like, by all means, after you.
Laura,
I can put
roll me a perception check.
All of us?
No, just Laura.
Just one. All right.
What happened? What's going on?
Waiting on her to make her roll and tell me what she got.
You
Oh.
take a moment.
Yeah, you.
I thought you said just.
Laura Lynn.
Oh.
I rolled a 7.
Yeah, you don't notice anything at all. As the four of you make your way out, night has fallen. You're not sure where you might go in this this port town here.
Are there's no official like town watch. It's just like private security.
As far as you've seen so far, but you have not made your way past anywhere but this dock area.
Mm-hmm.
Right, well, we're not going to bloody stand around in the streets all night, are we?
Yep.
This seems to be a pretty dense harbor here. We should be able to find plenty of ship captains.
Should be able to. I think we should try sticking the members of the Freebooters League, though. Maybe more interested in helping. So I'm going to try to remember if there's any insignia that matches the Freebooters League, like as an organization, what their symbol is.
Now, having prior knowledge of that, is that something that I would recognize?
Yeah, you would recognize the symbol as a circular badge with two boot prints along the bottom and two crooked canes kind of interlocking as an X in the middle and a compass above that.
Right. I can appreciate a symbol like that. Okay. All right. I'd kind of like to, as he's doing that, kind of scan around and look for any kind of symbology above any storefront doors or anything like that.
Roll me an investigation check.
17 plus 1, 18.
Okay. So you see several shipments of crates being lugged towards what appears to be a wall set at a gate with 2 guards going in. Just from this angle, looking through the gate, you see what appears to be warehouses.
But we see the symbol there.
You see the symbol on the crates being transported from the docks. There are 4 ships side by side along these piers, and all of this crate has this symbol on it going towards the warehouse.
So almost as a sign from the gods, as Haru mentions the Freebooters League, I noticed the crates, and I kind of give them a nudge, and I mentioned like that, like them over there. There we go.
Now Haru will look at it and then say, gate or ships? We'll probably ask the 2 guards there. They work for the Freebooters League, we're pretty sure. So Haru's going to make his way over towards the guards.
Okay. As you start to like walk away from the Salted Clam, and towards the ships, that's where you're heading, right? The ships or the
guards?
Guards.
Yeah.
Okay. So you follow this cargo shipment through a couple streets, and this is where you see the gate. But as you start to make your way towards the gate, you hear a voice from behind you. Oh, you smell that, Biggs. And you turn around and you see 2 half-dressed orcs. You see them with leather pants, and they both have cutlasses at their sides. But what really catches your attention is the larger feller behind them. While you know this to be a half-breed, a half-orc, half-ogre, standing there, rubbing a large bat-like object, like a ball bat. And he starts to chuckle. Oh, I do. Smells me some gold.
Do we all see this, correct?
You all see this.
All right. Well, Haru
How
clenches
close
his
is the
fist and takes a half step forward, assuming a posture like he's ready to fight.
I'm
And
going
he's
to
going to hunch his shoulders.
step out to his left. How close are they to us?
They step out of the shadows about 10 feet from you. Very, very close. Closer than you're comfortable with.
Okay, well, can I do something?
Initiative right off the bat.
That depends on what you're trying to do.
I think he wants to cast a spell.
Yeah, that's going to have to wait until. I mean, are you like trying to start a fight immediately with these guys?
Well, we can talk to them first. I say, well, I assume you are looking for something.
Is this a face that I would recognize?
No, but the half ogre appears to be like eyeballing you, almost as if he can smell that satchel of gold, like a bloodhound smells a raccoon. He is inching his way towards you as the man carrying the wealth.
Okay. Kind of trying to keep my cool. I kind of lower one of my 2 flute cases down to the ground and lay it down and open it up, and I begin to grab my flute out of the case.
And one of the orcs, like, comes closer to you, hand on the hilt of his cutlass. He's like, I'd be careful if I were you, mate.
I pause, and then slowly reveal a flute, and I look at him as a Matter of fact, like it's just the flute. Now you say you smell gold, but perhaps your nose could be wrong. Perhaps it's right. What of it?
And the same orc that told you to be careful starts to unsheath his cutlass and says, "We can do this one of two ways. You can go ahead and hand us over that gold. Or we can let Bigsy have his way."
Or I'll play you a song, and this is a fun little wager here, one that I value a little more than yours. I'll play you a song with a riddle, and if you solve the riddle, you can have all my gold. But if you fail to solve the riddle, we walk away. No troubles, no harm, no foul. What do you say?
And with that, the orc answers, "Only games I'll be playing tonight, mate, is wagering your gold in that there tavern." And I need all of you to roll initiative as they pull their cutlasses and make their way towards you.
Have it your way then.
All right.
Okay.
That is a 13.
That is a 10.
12.
Galvin?
My turn.
Mm-hmm. Like, what is your initiative?
That was
18
18.
total for him.
Okay. Okay, so. So they weren't anticipating the quickness of you guys. So Galvin, go ahead and tell me what you'd like to do here.
I am going to use color spray. It's a cone effect, 15 foot. And I'll make a roll. Okay.
$32. 41.
Okay. So it says a dazzling array of flash colored lights. And the total is how many hit points of creatures is spoken. Right. So it's starting at the lowest health, going up. It's
41.
41 hit points. So I can blind a few of them, basically paint.
Okay, so are you rolling against? Am I rolling against the DC or?
Nope, it's basically it just affects them lowest hit point to highest hit point.
40.
Okay.
41
So
total
their entire health pool.
is counted to deduct from the 41 health point total he rolled. And from there, if their health is used, or
So this is color spray.
color spray.
Yep.
They are blinded if their health doesn't exceed the total allotment. It's sort of like the sleep spell.
Okay, so it's a number of 41, and if the total hit points of all three of these creatures don't exceed that, then they're all blinded.
Yeah, but each one is factored in individually.
Oh, okay. So, okay, I got you now. So, Galvin throws his hands out, and this blinding array like shoots out from his fingertips like fireworks, and pops and dazzles in the faces of these three assailants. All the two orcs like fall to their knees, holding their eyes, like screaming in pain, and the half ogre is kind of like stumbling back, like waving his hand in front of his face as if he's being attacked by bees. All three are blinded.
Okay.
And are you wanting to move, or is that going to be it for you?
I'm going to back behind Ruzak.
Okay, Lyle, you see this display and you see your chance. What do you do?
I quickly rush over behind the half ogre.
Mhm.
I reveal a rapier from beneath my colorful cloak, and I hold it out in front of me as to the point to just slightly dig into the back of his neck as he stumbles backwards. And with a menacing laugh, I say, "Now, we were talking about gold," and I begin to pat him down for any kind of gold pouch or anything he may have.
Okay, you start to feel him up, and the only thing that you feel is the ripped muscle that makes up this creature's body. He doesn't have anything on him except this ball bat in his hands as he's waving it in front of him, trying to catch his sight again.
Okay, I will cast Charm Person on him.
Okay.
1 second here. So yeah, so you attempt to charm a humanoid you can see within range and must make a Wisdom saving throw. It does so with advantage if you are fighting it. It fails if it's charmed. Okay, so yeah, Wisdom saving throw.
So you got a 16.
Okay, that beats my DC 14.
Okay. Laurelyn. You're muted.
I'm going to yell for Lyle to get out of the way. I'd like to cast Thunder Wave.
Mm-hmm.
We're all really close.
Are there a lot of people around us too?
No. You're in like a little...
Back alley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that changes everything.
I'd recommend a cantrip, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, you guys don't know what I'm about to do.
That's just me. You can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna do it.
Lyle begins to grin from ear to ear and prepares himself for a reactionary step to try and dodge the brunt of the spell she's about to cast.
Now I'm looking at it like the description of the...
Yeah, each creature in the way, which would include Lyle, has to make a Constitution save. If they fail, they take 2d8 damage and are pushed 10 feet.
So it's like everything around me, not in front of me.
No, it's in front of you in a cone. In a 15 feet, in a 15-foot cube.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought what was in front of us was the ogre and the orcs.
And Lyle.
And, well, that's why I told him to get out of the way.
Well, I mean, that would be good. Except that he can't yet.
Well. So what do I need to roll to do this, or is this something...
You don't need to roll anything.
Excellent. But that's what I want to do.
Okay.
I just
Wow.
checked Thunderwave though. It's a 15-foot cube centered on you, not a cone.
15 foot. I don't see where it's centered on her, but okay. Well, either way, it hits. If that's the case, if it's centered on her, then everybody rolls a Constitution save.
Yes.
Yeah, it says range itself 15-foot cube.
Okay, cool. I guess I'm looking at it wrong.
So we need to make a Constitution save.
Each and every one of you, yes.
Oh, you were so lucky. 19 plus 1 is 20.
So the half ogre got a 22, and the two orcs got a 12 and 14 apiece.
What do I have to beat?
What's your
Yeah,
DC?
what's your spell DC? Yeah. Your spell DC.
Let's see. Where would I find?
Modifier +2.
Wisdom modifier +2, baby.
Oh, sorry. Give me a second. I'm not sure. Like,
Wisdom mod.
well, I have +4 to wisdom.
Okay, +2. So that's +6
So
to 10. So that's 16.
Okay.
Everybody below a 16 failed.
actually, the DC is 8 +2 plus the 4. So it's
Oh, yeah, you're right. 14. So everybody below the 14. Or 14.
14.
all right. Roll the damage.
Okay. So the two orcs failed. No, one orc failed.
Mhm.
And you took 9 on the die. And the half ogre took a 4, and the other orc took a 6.
That means I took 4.
Okay. So Haru gets blown back by the spell effect.
Now, did the half ogre get blown back? Because I had my rapier digging into the back of his neck.
He did not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I did not.
I just wanted to check, man.
One of the orcs did, though.
Well, I didn't have my rapier in the back of their neck.
So that was
That would have been so cool.
Right.
that was 9 damage total.
4 to people that did.
All right.
How much damage did the rest of you take?
Haru took the whole blast.
So that's 2d8?
Yep.
So what did that work out to?
It's whatever Leah rolled.
Oh, I thought we rolled the 2d8.
No,
Okay.
you're supposed to roll
All
the 2d8, and,
Okay.
and that's the damage that's applied to everyone.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I'm wrong.
I'll take half damage of what the 2d8 that Leah's supposed to roll.
All right, Leah, roll 2d8.
Give me a second.
Thunder wave.
I'm a total rules lawyer. Can you guys tell?
This is the favorite spell for the bard in my group,
I see.
and the cleric.
I rolled 10 altogether.
10 altogether. All right.
So I'll take 5.
All right. So Haru gets blown back and pretty much hits the dirt. Thud.
So did you hit the full brunt then?
Yep.
So you
He's unconscious.
Just flat out.
Oh, okay.
That
So-
killed you? What?
yeah, it knocked him out.
So everybody in the group took damage from that.
Yeah. If you passed your Constitution save, then you only took half. If you failed, then you took all of it, and you got pushed back 10 feet.
Lyle, did you take the whole or half?
No, I'll take half. I'll take 5 damage.
I'd say next time you do something like that, run into the middle of them and then do it
Mhm.
and spare the rest of us pain?
No, it's 50-foot cube. They were within 10 feet of us.
Yeah, they were. You would have to run past them.
And unmute yourself.
I honestly thought it would go in front of me, not around me.
It's
Okay,
cool.
so Haru and one of the orcs went flying backwards. The orc hit the corner of a wall and fell, while the other orc number 2, and the half ogre stood their ground, as did Lyle and Galvin.
I say don't do that again.
Can
Haru is knocked out.
can I rush over to Haru in a panic? I'm just want to.
Yeah, you can move towards him. Yes.
I'm not going to cast anything else. I just.
Mhm.
I'm going to rush over to him.
Okay. So Laurelin moves over to the unconscious Haru.
We're getting off to some wonderful starts here.
She's rusty.
The first orc that hit his head on the wall, he's like trying to crawl to his feet, very groggily. He does not know what is going on. The next orc wildly swings and does 14 hit Galvin.
Yeah, how close is he?
He's lunging forward and lashing out. You're the closest one to him.
But yeah, my armor class is 13.
So that would hit. And that was rolled with disadvantage.
Yes, that was a disadvantage.
Wow. Good rolls. I got half that.
All right, so that's it's only a 3. Take 3 damage from that as the cutlass slices into your chest as he's swinging wildly, totally blinded. The half ogre, I'm sorry, tries to reach around to get to the pointy behind him, and that is a 7. That's not going to hit you, Lyle.
No.
Okay, we are back up to Galvin.
So color spray lasts
One round.
one round. So after my turn, they will be able to see again.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to.
Back up.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Get
I
away.
can't disengage.
Yes, you can. He's blind.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna back up 10 feet or so,
Mhm.
and I'm going to use. Firebolt on the and it slashed at me.
Okay.
Okay, so that's going to be
And plus your attack stuff.
5. So that's going to be a 15 to hit,
All right, that absolutely hits.
And 10
and
damage.
that was full 10 damage.
Yeah, the firebolt shoots down the alley, lighting up the entire place. The darkness that was there is just for an instant gone. As Laura, you look up, you see this firebolt hit this orc directly in the chest and just ignite his skin as a thin film of flame goes all over his body, and he falls burnt to a crisp, screaming until the last, then stops moving altogether. Lyle.
Okay, so he's dead, right? The
Yes,
half ogre.
one orc is dead.
Oh, is the half ogre still alive, or is
Yes.
that, okay? And am I still behind him, or
Yes, you are.
okay? What I'm going to do is pierce my rapier right through his spinal cord.
Keep in mind, he's no longer blind.
He is no longer blind, so roll me an attack.
Now, is this with advantage?
No, because he's no longer blind.
Even though I'm behind him? Okay.
Oh, you're behind him.
I thought he swung behind. He turned around to find who was poking him in the back.
He did. He was swinging wildly.
That is a 12, which probably does not hit.
It actually just hits.
Get the fuck out.
Roll me some damage there.
Okay, so with a violent thrust of rapier that looks like it's rarely ever used,
Mhm.
that is 4 for 4 damage.
Okay. Do you want to move?
Yeah, I'll kind of like in the same motion pull my sword back through, seeing as it didn't go all the way through, and I'll just back up 5 or 10 feet, kind of out of reach.
Okay, just out of reach. All right, Laurelin, it is your shot. Haru is before you, unconscious.
Yeah.
One orc is burnt to a crisp. The other one has gotten to his feet behind Lyle, and the half ogre has regained his sight with that flash of fire lighting up the alleyway and has caught sight of Lyle.
Can I cure Haru's wounds? Can I heal him?
You sure can if you got a spell.
I do. I have cure wounds.
Okay.
Do I just? It just happens, right? And I roll for it, or do I roll to make this happen?
Touch it, but you have to roll the amount of healing.
Yeah. So it's 1d8 plus my spellcasting ability modifier. Would that be plus
Wisdom.
my wisdom?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Wisdom. Okay. Let's see. That would be 8.
8 total?
Yes.
8 total. So, Haru, you regain 8. You feel the breath of life come back as your eyes snap awake. Not sure what's going on, but
Laurelin's apologizing profusely as she's trying to help her friend up.
Okay. Is it my turn or?
it absolutely is.
Okay. Haru's going to get to his feet again and tell Laurelin, we'll talk later. He clenches his fist. He looks ahead at who's left standing. I suppose there's one orc who's stumbling to his feet.
Yes, he's the one that got pushed back. He's behind Lyle.
Okay.
And Lyle is between that orc and the half ogre, which would be the closest to you.
I guess Haru's just going to pull forward as fast as he can. So it took 15 of his movement to stand up, and if he's close enough, he'll get up to the half ogre to engage.
For sure. Yeah, you can reach him. No
All right.
problem.
And since Lyle's on the far side, do I get flanking?
Yes, you do.
Haru is going to unsheath both of his claws and run forward with a roar to attack from behind. All right, so I've got a 19 and a natural 20.
Nice.
Excellent.
So they should both be hits.
Mm-hmm.
6 damage. 5.
On that natural 20,
Yeah.
take max damage and roll me another damage die.
Okay. Oh, it's max damage, and so it's max of his damage die.
Yep.
All right.
Plus another roll.
Well, I already rolled along with it.
Okay.
That'd be 4 plus. That's 5 plus 4, so that's 9 damage. for his offhand.
Okay.
So a grand total of 15.
Okay. You see, as your claws dig into this half ogre, you dig into the backs of his legs as he tries to get towards Lyle, and he stumbles a little bit and starts to turn around to see what the hell just hit him. Seeing an opportunity, the first orc charges at Lyle and makes an attack, who happens to also be flanked. Oh, John, it's 18?
Yeah, that's a hit.
Yeah. So that's 5 damage altogether?
All right. And that garners a deep and guttural oomph as I collapse to the floor, as I am down to 0.
The cutlass just slashes Lyle's back wide open, and he just falls dramatically, hands up in the air, and falls to his knees and to his face and moves no more. The half ogre, seeing the dragonborn on him, reaches back and tries to snag his enemy. And that is not going to work. That's a 6. So his hand just brushes right past you and fails to make any kind of contact whatsoever. So, Galvin, we're back up to you, sir.
Okay. I'm going to use Firebolt again and try to dispatch the orc. Do they have an orc?
There's like a half orc, half ogre, and then an orc.
I'll take out
They're both wounded.
I'll take out the orc. Okay, that's gonna be an 8 to hit. That's a miss.
That's a total miss, yes, sir. All right. Lyle, roll me a death save.
All right. Just a D20. If it's better than 10.
Yeah.
It's a 12.
Yes, that's a success. Laurelin, you see Lyle face down in a pool of his own blood. The orc coming around to finish off your friend, your companion, Haru. What do you do?
Can I use Frostbite? It's a cantrip.
Mhm.
It basically causes a numbing frost to form around him. Do you need me to read the rest to you, or do you know?
I got it. I need to roll a Constitution save, which I'm about to do. Which are you? It's fail either way. So you need to roll.
Yeah,
D6.
1d6. Three. I don't add anything to it, correct?
Right.
Yeah, that's 3.
Just a 3.
Yes,
Which one did you hit? The orc or the ogre?
the one that was going after Haru.
They're both after her now.
They will.
One swung at him. That's the half ogre, and the orc is circling around. Yeah, just pick one.
I'll go after the one that looks like it's gonna die. Hopefully.
Okay, yeah, its skin like frosts over, and you can hear it crack and snap as the muscle just moves past the frost itself, and it howls in anger as Haru sees an opportunity as his half ogre is reeling from this frostbite.
also has a disadvantage.
So my turn. I'm going
Yes, sir.
to take one of my claws and just try to tear him up through the chest and chin all the way up.
Okay.
That's what the damage I was cocked. So that'll be a 14 to hit.
That's absolutely a hit.
All right, and 7 damage.
I want you to describe what
Okay.
happens to this half ogre as your claws just rip him.
My with one hand, I stick my claws into his gut and just tear it all the way up in a sweeping motion that makes it first his guts and then it rips out some of his rib cage as I just rip it up, and then I kind of dislodge it and then jam the tips of my fingers into his throat, so he's coughing out blood.
As he's coughing out blood, you feel the warmth of his intestines as they spill out to your body, and he falls limp and quite dead. At that point, you hear a crack of a gunfire. There's a boom, and a flash lights up the alleyway.
Wow.
Before you,
I've got one more. I've got a little bit of movement and then a bonus action.
okay,
I was gonna go claw the raining orc if I had a chance.
Mhm.
That was only an 8, so that probably missed.
as you turn to charge at the orc, this is where you hear the gunfire, right? Before you stands behind the orc, and in front of you stands the half-drunken but very aware Captain Magnus, who levels his other pistol directly behind the skull of the orc. He drops his cutlass upon realizing what is going on. And the captain looks to you. You're with Ashcroft.
Yes, we are.
All you hear from me is like a gurgling sound as I'm bleeding out on the cold cobblestone street right now. Has like bloody handprints, like streaking, picking up straw on my hands on the way. Like, I'm just bleeding out on the ground.
So, all right, combat's going to be officially over at this point. Leah, if you wanted to use another spell to bring him above.
Or not. I mean, if you guys like me better this way, I guess that's fine.
Well,
too.
If you like bleed out on the street, that's an option too.
The only ability I have to do that would be the Cure Wounds, and I use that. Can you only use it once, or can I?
You
have-
can use it more than
Well, you could use it more than once, but how many spell slots do you have at level 1? Just 2?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess for his part, Haru is going to walk over to Lyle, who's bleeding out.
You would
Right.
really just have to kneel down. He's right at your feet.
Yeah, I'm going to kneel down,
Literally pawing
Red.
at you.
shred his cloak, and use that to bandage him up.
Oh man.
I'm just going to make a medicine check here.
Okay.
16.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to stop the bleeding and stabilize Lyle. He's not going to die, but he is grievously wounded.
Yep.
The captain lets out a loud whistle, and within a moment, guards show up bearing a symbol that you don't know, but they take hold of the orc, force him to his knees and tie his hands, and bring him back towards the docks. And Magnus looks to Lyle on the ground and tells you all to pick him up and follow him. He's going to take you to his ship to tend to the wounds of your friend here.
I'm over dramatically letting out groans as they shift my body near my wound, as if to try and form some form of pity or guilt because I've been bleeding out on the floor.
Haru, for his part, doesn't have much pity to give. He picks up Lyle none too gently, puts him on his shoulder, and just walks off after the captain.
Laurelin follows behind.
Just
Feeling
that's
slight
all you
pity.
hear from me.
Right, within minutes, you guys are aboard the Peregrine. Lyle is on a bed. The ship's physician has him on his stomach. Has poured whiskey down his throat. So Lyle, while you're bleeding a little more profusely than you probably should, you are feeling no pain and are quite passed out drunk as the physician sews up your back, where you will have for the rest of your days a really wicked looking scar. As this is going on, a much more sober captain comes back to Haru and asks to see the letter from Ashcroft.
Haru dusts the gore and intestines off his belt pouch and
Prestidigitation.
produces the letter.
Do not see the gore. All right. So yeah, you proceed to show him the letter. He reads it with more seriousness than you've seen from him so far, and says, "This son of a bitch." Well, we leave in 3 days' time, and we were going back to the continent. But if Ashcroft is paying the way, then I suppose west we go. Though the boys aren't going to like this. And he looks towards Lyle and then looks back to the rest of you. Sorry about your friend. And walks out of the cabin towards his own and leaves you alone. The physician, finishing his job, stands up, washes his hands off, tells you that Lyle's going to need many days of rest before he's going to be back to any kind of walking shape, and he should stay put almost the entirety of the journey.
We could heal him.
Or we could not.
It's true.
Characters done right. The party members don't want to revive them.
Well, we stabilized him. I did tear your cloak up, though.
Oh yeah, he's not going to be happy about that.
My colorful patchwork cloak.
Doesn't have
Yeah.
to be happy.
I'll just sit by his bed and read him a story.
I have a book of poems and collections of short stories, just so you know.
Stay a while. And
Page 353 is my favorite.
Old Galvin's going to sit at your bedside and show you his etchings.
Oh my goodness.
Stay a while and listen. That's great. Okay, so as the captain said, you have 3 days that they're going to change their course and head west to the colony instead of back to the continent.
Mhm.
You guys are free to spend those 3 days however you like.
By rolling or hit dice.
you're in for a long recovery, huh?
Yeah.
You add your Constitution modifier to that roll, though.
So 4.
So Haru is going to take Laurelin off to the side He's going to take a deep breath and say, you can use your magic however you want. Just be aware that if you're going to explode like that again, kindly move further away from me. I just wasn't expecting that.
Laurelin apologizes again. I will do that next time. I'm sorry.
Pat her on the shoulder.
She kind of looks down to the ground, just looking somewhat unsure.
Well, you did knock at least one of the orcs away.
True. True. She kind of just lets out a sigh. I'll do better next time. And leaves it at that.
Then Haru's going to head over to Galvin and say, you cleaned off my belt pouch with some magic. Normally, if I'm this bloody, I go take a bath or something, but the only water I see around here is the bay, and I don't want to go in there.
Yep.
Do you mind leaving the
Hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
He says, yep.
Yeah, you don't want to bathe in the poo bay.
No Pooh Bay water baths.
No.
Yeah, I use prestidigitation to clean everyone off.
Go and get an infection.
So the two humans are recovering from grave wounds together.
Yep.
Telling great tales of their own heroism.
Eating ice cream, playing ping pong.
Lieutenant Gal, get your ice cream. Oh, shit. Okay, so Galvin and Lyle, unless otherwise magically stated, you guys are going to be kind of down and out for these 3 days, and probably a good chunk of this voyage coming up.
I did 2 rolls for 2 days and that's full health.
Back for full health? Okay.
And for me,
That's something I can do, right?
you roll
Yes.
your dice.
What is it now per day?
You get
Your hit dice plus your constitution.
we're only level 1, so you only get to roll it once per day.
Yeah.
And
So,
Haru will finish healing up after 1 day of rest.
so I got 10. I rolled 2 5s for 2 days.
Okay, so you're back to full health.
Yeah, I'm back to full health.
The stitching helped you out pretty well. So on the 3rd day, you guys are all up on deck as Lyle inches his way out of the cabin just as the ship pulls away from shore. And any shopping that Haru or Laura wanted to do in that meantime will retcon. So if you guys wanted to get anything, look for anything specific.
Maybe some potions, some tinctures
Yeah.
of the healing variety for when your bard eats the dirt again. Y'all can't go on without me. I'm the comic relief, man.
Healing
Yeah.
potions are 50 gold apiece.
It would have been on the continent, but here in Freeport, things are a little harder to come by, and bartering is much more difficult with some of these salty fellers. So we're going to say 75 per potion in Freeport, especially since you're not really known here.
So for 2, that would be 150.
Reputation is everything in Freeport.
What I'll say is I gave Haru 150 gold and say I would like to get some health
All right. So basically, I just do shopping for him, and I give him his 2 healing potions.
Excellent.
While he's bedridden.
I'm not buying anything. I don't want to go back there.
Okay. Lyle, you spend the next week or so during the voyage.
Can I cure him?
I mean, he's healed completely
Yes, you
now.
Oh, okay, so he's fine.
Now, but you could have healed him, but chose to wait until he waited the 2 days to heal before you mentioned it.
People don't forget.
But you find Lyle most of this voyage down below decks, taking money from the foolish sailors at the end of their watches through various dice games and card games that he seems to be very, very good at. So Lyle, you're able to gather together a good 26 gold pieces from the crew.
Oh, look at
Alright.
that.
Woot woot.
But the crew's
Is he
very
making enemies?
Yes, he is. The crew does not like Mr. Lyle. And during one of these games, one of the sailors throws the table across the cabin and starts to stand up and calling you a cheat. When just at that time the bosun's whistle blows loudly across the deck. All hands are to report to the deck. And as you all come up to the deck side, you see a large island with some rolling hills and one lone mountain further inland. And you're pulling into a bay where you see in the distance what appears to be small wooden walls surrounding a settlement. And the captain is looking through his looking glass, very concerned. And he lowers the eyeglass and hands it to the wizard, Galvin.
Yep.
And says, "Something's wrong.
Okay, so
Nobody's." Go ahead.
I look through the eyepiece towards the outpost. I guess I'm going to roll perception.
You won't need to. As you look out through the looking glass, what you see is what should be a well fortified little settlement here, with the gates wide open, and you don't see anyone, not a soul, in this town. And that is where we're going to end our session.
Aw. That was awesome.
Cliffhanger.
Dun dun dun.
Well, yeah.
Gotta make us want to show up to the next session.
I'm showing up.
So let's recap. The first 5 minutes of Freeport, I was choked. Less than 2 hours later, I was damn near killed.
I mean, well, you should consider yourself lucky. In Freeport, most people have to pay extra for the choking.
Oh my goodness.
So I'll be visiting some local taverns when we're free next time. Next time we're in Freeport.
Question.
Yes.
I remember in the beginning there was talk of land. Where was this land supposed to be? That
Probably here on the island.
On these
on
islands.
Freeport?
No. Here,
Okay.
here at Sarah's Bounty.
Okay. Because
That's
I
the
was
name
gonna
of the
say
settlement.
screw that.
Right. you can have Freeport, man. I will take Kirkwall. I'll go back to Kirkwall any day now.
Spell check on Sarah's bounty.
I'm sorry?
Spell check on Sarah's bounty.
Spell check? Oh, SARAE. apostrophe S, Bounty.
SARAE.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
No worries. And I would like to thank anybody that watched during the live stream and anybody watching in the future. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, my name is Jason Smith. You're watching Smith Forge Gaming. Joined by Sam and Thomas and my brother John and my lovely wife Leah. And we will be back again sometime in the near future for episode 2. Again, thank you for joining us. And we will see you next time.